Keep an eye on your brake fluid when you compress your calipers. If your brake fluid is high, when you compress the calipers, it's going to bring it up more. So you might actually end up needing to take a little bit out. These are tight. Stuck. This one's a little stuck in there, so I'm going to see if I can just tap it out first. Doesn't seem like it's going to move. Okay, so the little rubber piece that should be on here stuck inside the caliper and the bracket. Even though I won't be taking the brackets off, I'll be digging that rubber piece out. Might end up having to replace it depending on how bad it is. Seems like it's stuck right here. So there it is. It's actually not that bad. We'll clean that up and reuse it. And then I'm also going to take a pick and dig this out a bit and clean these bolts up. I'll show that on film for you. So for that caliper hole, I'm going to take a pick and kind of scrape around in the hole a little bit, and then I'll clean it out with some parts cleaner, and we'll see how that does. Doesn't feel like there's anything in there actually. Feels pretty good. Your brake kit should come with new hardware, your brake pads. If they don't, I strongly recommend getting some that do. It's always good to change the hardware. You see how rusty and corroded up it can get. If you don't change it, make sure you take them off and scrape them up with a wire brush and clean them off really good. They can cause the pads to stick. They will usually give you brake grease, but if they don't, you want to get a little packet of it for both front and rear. One packet for each. I will be using this. And some dirt on that one. Try that again. Make sure you don't get any grease on the pad part. Alright, and if your slide pins are as bad as these ones are, definitely clean them up. You want your slide pins to move smoothly. I keep a little sanding block here. See the difference? gonna put a little extra grease on this one since I had some hard times. Okay, so the new brake pads did not come with warning tabs at all, not in the kit or anything either. So we should be able to transfer this warning tab from the old one. Just pull it off. And then when we put it on, you can see it's got a pre-designed little slot for it in the corner. You want this to go on the top side of the back. So we'll put it on when we're installing it. So for the front one, you don't need the warning tab. The warning tab is going to go on the back. So the back side is going to sit like that. So we're going to put it on this top corner. And you want the tab to stick out. And you just make sure you get it locked in there. Okay. Alright, so I actually ended up putting that little tab on the bottom. It didn't seem to fit on the top, so I put it on the bottom. That's where it fits. The one without the rubber goes up top. Make sure it freely moves. The one with the rubber goes on the bottom. And I think I'm still gonna have an issue with this. So give me just a minute so I can get the camera out of the way. Okay, so I'm still having a problem with getting that one to fit. So what I'm doing is just getting some grease down in there and starting to work it a little bit. It's obviously been gunked up for a little while, so I just get some grease in there, make sure it's working good. Make sure you're still keeping your rubber part. Make sure it's got good movement. So I've got that hole pretty smooth. I'm gonna do some new grease on here now. I wipe this pin back off. We'll do some new grease on it and we'll try again. And it should do the trick. The biggest thing is that you get it moving smoothly. If you can't, then you really might need to buy a new caliper bracket. And now I can get this rubber boot back on. Almost. Okay. There, let's try again. There we go. Wipe off some of that excess grease there, but make sure your caliper's moving smooth and you're good. one going this way. So I'll sink it on this side. So since these tabs slip up in there, if it looks like they're going to rub on the rotor, you might push them in with a little bit of a screwdriver. Just kind of push them back a little bit, just to make sure. That should be good. Okay, so since these old pads don't have any warning tab on them that I can transfer over to the new pads, and the new pad kit Unfortunately, it didn't come with any warning tabs. Really getting tired of the cheap brake places, but they should provide them, but they don't. So I won't be able to put any warning tabs on these. So when you get your brake pad set, you might make sure they come with warning tabs. Kind of a good thing to have on there so you get a squeak before you get a grind. I really don't understand why brake companies don't make sure that they come with everything they need. Alright, and then the front has different slide pins, so you want to pull in this rubber boot and pull the pin out. Sometimes these can get stuck too, and they get really hard to get out. Keep track of where the rubber piece goes. This one goes on the bottom. See, this one's kind of difficult to come out, but sometimes you might need to take a chisel and pound it out, or some heat, and they can be kind of hard to get out sometimes, but just make sure you keep track of which one's which. The one with the rubber piece goes on the bottom. And same thing with these, you just want to clean them up and grease them. They should move smoothly. If they don't move, then you have a problem. With the camera in the way. It's actually 18. Sometimes you gotta stop this slide pin. It's gonna be 18 millimeter. Okay, the slide pin is a 17 millimeter, and I use these thin wrenches. They do really good for this kind of stuff. Adjust my. This isn't going well. You get a little extension for the top one. The bleeder valve gets in the way. Just a reminder to check on your brake fluid, make sure you're not overfilling it. Check your brake fluid. Mine's right on the full line, so I won't need to add or take any out. If you're low, you'll want to add some brake fluid. If you're high, you'll want to take a little bit out to get it to the max line. I'm right at the max line, so good to go.